Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fierster, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Welcome to this episode of The Gateway, live from United Public Radio Network, 107 FM New Orleans. I'm your host, C.L. Thomas. Hello from Las Vegas. First, I want to say thank you to United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans. Without them, the show would never happen. And without you listeners and support, again, the show would not happen. You've been listening to one and only Sean Kelly and his show Into the Night. If you missed his show, he has another one on this Sunday. I think it's at 3 o'clock Pacific, or no, 3 o'clock. It might be Pacific time. I got to find out that time for you guys because every week I say it and then I never know the exact time. It's in the afternoon though. In Vegas, it's been windy and rainy. It's a little bit cold today, which is surprising, and it's super windy. So we have one of those eerie kind of days going on. It's been like this for the last few days. I just got back from Sacramento, California. Has anyone ever been there? First of all, it's such an interesting place. It's my first time ever there. And for those who haven't been, it's an old gold rush city, like an old river town from, I think they have a couple of blocks right downtown that is all built from the 1850s. I'm sorry, 1850s. The reason I'm thinking of the 1950s though, is that everybody thinks that they're experiencing the historical side of this little historical gold rush town. And the way they do that, they buy these complete junkers. I kid you not, like 1990s junkers. And then they fix them up. Some of them were from the 70s too, but they fix them up and they completely pimp out these cars. And they create like lowriders and stuff. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. So they put these cars on hydraulics. It's the weirdest thing. And they just drive around these 1850s buildings over and over again. It's so weird. But anyhow, it's an old town. There are a lot of neat history and a lot of hauntings in that place. It's really, really cool. But I just thought that the low riding thing was a little weird. So tonight, do you guys believe in Bigfoot? Let me know in the comments and feel free to ask questions. My guest is the host of Agents of the Unexplained Podcast. His name is Bill Rigby. He's going to share his personal encounter with Bigfoot. And not only did he have this experience, but it's in the world's most squashiest place, Salt Fork Lake Park. So that's in Ohio. I think it's right on the border of Pennsylvania. I'm going to let him tell you all about that. Sam's Pretty Paranormal says, yes, I definitely believe in Bigfoot. I do too. So Bill, let me get him on here. He is a speaker and a researcher of the paranormal. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey, CL, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Mean, brunt, and grumpy. But other than that, I'm just fine.
You shouldn't be grumpy. You just had a great event from what I saw on your Facebook.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Attendance was down a little bit, but it was still a good event. And I'm still worn out. And that was Saturday.
Tell me about this event, because I kind of scrolled through your Facebook a little bit just to find out who you were, and I saw all these pictures about your event.
Well, it's I started it 3 years ago, and I covered the paranormal, the UFOs, the cryptids, the whole 9 yards, and the speakers are usually local researchers, but I've been expanding out a little farther. But the thing is, I try to highlight at least one, if not two, female researchers, and no matter what the field is, because I feel, that they're not getting enough credit for what they're doing. And every show that I did, I highlighted a couple of them. But the speakers this time, I had Amy Boo from, she'd been out to the Pacific Northwest. She got Project Zoo book. I had my buddy Jim Sparks. Sparky has his own little group of paranormal. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but he does the paranormal and Bigfoot. We've done a lot of researching together. Fred Saluga, old man Fred, man, he's been researching for 50 years plus. And then I had my friends from Hillview Manor, Haunted Hillview Manor from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, Dale Rogers and Danny. Donnie. They gave their talk about their experiences there and out of there. They were awesome too. Kurt, her talk was good. Amy Boo's talk was good. The thing is that that is to help people learn more on the different fields. That's why I started this event.
So how long has this been going on? How long has this event been going on?
This is the third year.
Okay. I'm definitely going to come next year for sure.
Well, you got it. You got it.
So I have a lot of questions just from the people in the chat. So first of all, do I call you the Squash Man? I saw a reference to that in the comments.
No, there is Squatch Man in the comments.
So you don't want me to call you that? You go by Bill?
I go by Bill.
Just checking. People
say I'm the Bigfoot guy. Even though I do the paranormal, the UFOs, but and I at 14 years of age, I saw a UFO. My first UFO. I had a premonition of a friend's son getting run over, and I kind of try to end that premonition because it did happen the next day. And I was 13 at the time. But the thing is, I finally got to see the Bigfoot.
I have so many questions to ask you on this. So many questions.
It wasn't fun. It was 15 feet away from me.
Well, before you get into that though, let's start with you telling us about you. How did you, was it your Bigfoot experience that got you into this whole thing? Were you in it as a kid? What happened?
That Patterson Gimlin film piqued my interest. I always believed in the paranormal. Seeing the UFO at 14, it's like, yeah, there's something else out there. But as I got older, I went into the service at 17. I get out. Now I got to do the adult thing and get a regular job, settle down, the whole 9 yards. And I turned around and went and did a lot of hunting, spent a lot of time in the woods. I love the woods. That's my solace. And I hunting in West Virginia, Ohio, New York, once up in Michigan, of course, Pennsylvania. And yes, it is your fault, Michael Anthony. And so, I'm seeing these tree structures. And it finally dawned on me, it's like, they're everywhere. And so I start Googling and researching, and it keeps coming back to Bigfoot. It's like, okay, so maybe they're not out west. And so I had to laugh, and say, all right, I'm going to start doing some more investigating. So I joined a few groups and started going out researching with a few of them. And I'm like, man, this is just like going out hunting. You're checking for tracks and signs and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is, isn't it?
Yes. And I knew how to track from years and years of studying it and learning how to track and the whole 9 yards. And then you turn around. The same year I had my sighting here in Mercer County, I found a trackway that went for over 100 yards. And talk about like a kid in the candy store, man. I got my phone out, I'm videoing, I'm taking pictures. I went and got my casting material out of the car, mixed it all up, I'm casting. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And I'm serious. I'm bouncing all over. And what was weird about it, I'm walking beside this trackway that went down 3/4 of an inch. I'm walking beside it. I hardly even made a dent into the beach area. I'm like, whoa. And this was 14-inch long by 7.5 inches wide footprint.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how big that is.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
I wear size 10.5, and that's big.
What size shoe does Shaq wear, you think?
20-something.
Yours, he goes to my gym, so I'm trying to do the sizing here.
No, wait a minute. He goes to your gym?
Yes.
Get me an autograph. And some pizza.
He's like a monster. He's towering over me. He's like a complete monster. But, so I always try to compare everything that's big to Shaq now.
Yeah. How tall are you? 7 foot something?
Yeah. Oh, he's tall. He's up there.
7 foot something. Yeah. He's big. He's big. But, so 28 or 32, Kurt says. Jesus. I wouldn't want to get kicked by it. But so I'm so excited about it. I found this and I got the casting made. It's in there. My friend that was with me, Brenda Sproul, she ran to Walmart, got kids plaster to make her own cast. And we, clown shoes. And so we get hers mixed up and got it going. And I'm so excited. And I felt the top of mine. Oh, it's dry. It's dry. No, it wasn't. I go to pull it up. It just crumbled everywhere. I should have left it for a day. Yeah, so I ruined my very first cast. Then we turn around. I told her, we're coming back tomorrow for this.
How many times have you found Bigfoot tracks?
A lot.
Really?
A lot. And this one farm that me and Debbie Preggy do. Mr. Sean, how you doing, brother? I'm going to say we found a good dozen different prints there at different times. But the thing is, these were singles, maybe two, not a whole trackway. So I'm all excited. Then that trackway was in the beginning of March. And it was still kind of cold out. So we know nobody's walking barefooted on that beach. And turn around, a little over a month later, right up the road from where we were there, a female woman that worked with the police department had this one cross the road in front of her. Right in that general vicinity. I don't know if it's the same one that left the tracks that we found or not. We found signs through that area of a bunch of, there could be several. I'm not going to say a whole bunch, but there could be several in that area.
Is this all around the Salt Fork?
No, this is up in Mercer County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Right around the Shenango Reservoir and north of it. And
it's still like Appalachia, right?
We're on the outskirts of it. We're right on the Ohio line. Salt Fork is Cambridge, Ohio. It's 2 hours southwest of us. Where I had my sighting. And, the same year as we found the trackway. So, I'm all pumped. Oh man, we got to find one. I got to see one. I really do. I learned, be careful what you wish for. I got invited, it was in August that year, to a camp out at the group camp area there at Salt Fork with the SOSPI group that they do once a month camp out at Salt Fork. And turn around, Jack Warren, my buddy Jack Warren's the one that invited me. And so I said, yeah, I'm going to go. I told Debbie about it. She said, oh, I'll go. And I know some of the people that goes to that. I don't care if you go or not. I got my van. I'm staying in it, And so we go. Hi, Trina. So I go the very first day. Then I met this Mike Bennett. And he looked at me and says, you want to go travel around, check things out around here since it's your first time? I'm like, yeah. Debbie says, I'm going. Come on, let's go. Let me tell you, that's a big beautiful state park. What impressed me the most about that park, not just the beauty of it, the layout of it, they got an 18-hole golf course there. It's like, what? In the middle of a state park?
Well, why not?
Yeah. Griff, my brother, him and his wife were godsends at my conference. They really were. They helped me out big time. And I can't appreciate anybody anymore. Yes, a lot of belief in it. But anyhow, so we traveled around for a while, checking out that park. And it's like, yeah, I believe they are here from things we're seeing. We get back to the group camp area. We're BSing with some people. And then I turn around and say, we're going to do something tonight. He says, well, we can go right now. We'll go right down the Buckeye Trail there if you want. I went, yeah, let's do this. He says, we'll go in about 90 paces, stop, look around, listen, see what we can hear or see. Okay. He didn't tell me before this that they had them sighted all around the group camp area, watching everybody. Okay. Nope, that's fine. We went in that 90 paces, something threw like a little stone or a nut up from the left. I didn't pay much attention to it. We end up moving up another 90 paces or so, and it happened again. Something from the left come tossed up to us. I'm thinking some idiots down there messing with us. And putting a hole one in what? Oh, hole in one. Yeah. Actually, we found a trackway coming down from the golf course down into the woods toward the lake. Near the cabin area. But so it's like, okay, this is getting a little freaky. And this is at dusk. We go on up a little farther and checking things out. Same thing to the left. Debbie's starting to get freaked out. She says, I don't want to go any farther. And she had this scope. And I said, give me your scope. I'll go up. You stay with Mike. I'll go up and check things out. Now I'll wave you up if it's safe. So she's watching to the left. I get up there. I kneel down. I'm adjusting the scope like this to look at it. In the corner of my right eye, I saw a little movement. I turned and looked right inside the tree line, 15 feet from me. There it was, knelt down like this, looking at me.
Wow.
No,
were you scared?
I never got scared a day in my life. Till then. And that's no lie. I've been startled, yes. Scared, no.
A lot of people, when they say that they have these sightings, they always allude to a certain smell that comes from them. Did you smell anything?
No. And that's not always true. And I still think they do that as a defense mechanism. Tell you the truth, like a skunk does to spray you. I think they do that to make you get away. That's my theory. I can be 110% wrong. But it didn't stink. And I didn't hear it move into that area, as big as it was. I cannot tell you the eye color because I would not look at the eyes. Because as a hunter, you learn not to stare a predator in the eyes. That's a sign of aggression. So, but I did see his hair, the shape of his head. Saw the high brow ridge, and his skin tone was real dark brown. Hair was dark brown, but not as dark as the skin. And all I can think of, I got to get away from him. I'm too close. So I stood up. It stood up. And I'm looking at him as he's standing next to that tree. And I'm thinking, shit, I'm out of here. And this is going on 4 years now because I was 62 at the time. And let me tell you, 62 years old, running full speed backwards, not watching where I'm going and not falling down on a trail. I was awesome. I'm laughing about it now, but I was in full panic. Full panic. And it's getting dark, and it's darker inside the wood line. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue your story. I'll ask you in a minute.
So
I want you to continue the story.
I'm yelling back at Mike, lights, and he's trying to figure out what the hell am I saying? And then he realized, so he hit his big spotlight and he shined down over the woods. He could see which way I was looking. And I go, did you see it? Did you see it? And he goes, I saw Bigfoot's ass. And I went, what? He says, yeah, I was going down over the hill. I saw the backside. And he said it like that to calm me down because he saw how worked up I was. And I was. But the next day, because they wanted to go back down that evening, and I went, no, I wasn't doing it. Went back down the next day. There was about 7 of us guys. We measured up on that tree. He was around 7 foot tall, but I'll guarantee you he was all of 4 feet wide. And the muscle tone on him was outrageous. It really was. And I say made Arnold Schwarzenegger jealous.
Could you tell if these things were female or male?
I didn't notice. I believe it was a male because I didn't like the Patterson Gimlin film. She was a female because her breast was swaying when she was walking. I didn't notice breasts, so I'm thinking it was a male juvenile. If it was a female and it had breasts, I would have noticed because I was looking at the body more and I was looking at the head and everything. So it's just see, you wanted to join the fun. No, actually, what I think, and I'm going to tell everyone, I believe they were doing what the Indians called count and coup, which is see how close they can get to a person without them noticing they're there, even slightly touch them so they don't know you're there and get out of there. And that's what I think he was trying to do. And all I can say is thank God he wasn't aggressive or I wouldn't be here right now.
That's an interesting point that I've never actually heard anyone ask in relation to Bigfoot. Are there Native Americans in the area? Are there any historic stories of Native Americans contacting these things from that particular area?
Yeah. William Nighthawk. He's on Facebook. He has some good stories. There's been some native stories handed down over the years. And it's interesting to get their take on it. And I have a problem with people that want to say they're one thing but they don't have an open mind to, like they're saying they're just flesh and blood or they're interdimensional. I got a problem with that. And the different stories from the natives, some say they are brothers from the sky. Others say are brothers from the woods, are hairy brothers from the woods, and stuff like that. So,
Do
it,
you believe that they're interdimensional, or you just don't know?
I don't know. What I saw, I believe, was flesh and blood. I believe it now. Is it? I don't know. Because I've got reports. I got pictures of, like, in the snow behind these people's house, there's a trackway going, and they just stop. There's no trees close to it, no outbuildings, no nothing for it to jump up on to get out of there. They just stop, and you can tell they never backed out from the tracks.
So they just like vanished in the thin air?
What happened to them? Did they beam me up, Scotty? I don't know. The thing is, we really don't know what they are. And if someone tells you this is what they are, they don't know. They're full of it. Because we don't have enough information on them. All these years, and we still don't have squat for information on them, considering. And up to the point that with my sighting, I believe we needed DNA to prove they're out there. I don't give a damn about DNA right now. I saw one. I know they're out here. Now, all I care about is finding out what they do, why they do, how they do it, what they're doing to stay warm in the winter. Everything what goes on with them. I want to know everything now. And I don't have enough time left in my lifetime to figure that one out, but still.
Right.
It's an interesting thing to study. And that sighting really changed my perspective on it all. It really did. And about 6 weeks after my sighting, there's a bunch of Bigfooters got together just to camp out at this church camp in Columbiana County. Not to do no research or anything, just to end of the year, get together, relax, enjoy the surroundings. And I got invited to it. Well, I was asked to get, because they knew I had my sighting. A few of them did, the rest of them did, and asked if I'd share what happened. And up to that point, I didn't really want to talk about it. But I had a lot of people telling me to talk about it. It'll be easier on you. You can. So, no, I don't know. All right, I'll try. So I ain't going to guarantee I'll be able to get it all out. And thank goodness it was with a bunch of Bigfoot researchers, because they didn't judge me. They didn't make me feel like an idiot. And so I told the story, the short version of it. And we became good friends. Joe Kesky got up and told his story, what happened to him. And his was very aggressive. And I got my head down and I'm listening around the campfire. I'm up here, he's down here. And I got my head down and he's telling his story. I started crying, thinking if mine was aggressive, I'd be dead. And I'm not a crier, but I started crying. And
yeah, you don't seem like you're a crier.
No, I'm not. And it changed my life. It really has.
In what ways?
I'm more in tune with my emotions. I'm not the hardcore Bill I used to be. I'm not the Superman I used to be. I do get scared. I found out. Took me 62 years, but I found out I got scared. And that was the hardest thing for me to understand is the fear. And that almost kept me out from researching. If it wasn't for some people getting a hold of me to talk to me about it and tell me to just get out there and talk about it to people. It doesn't have to be another researcher. Kurt, I'll get back to you on that in a little bit. The thing is that we need.
It's okay, Curtis. You can ask.
Yeah, we're only going to charge you $1 a question from now on. No. CL says I got to pay her to be here, so I need money. No. But, change every way I think about everything, too. There's so much more out there that we don't understand.
You've
Right.
had a lot of experiences. You've had the experience with the alien. You've had not one but several Bigfoot encounters. Is that right?
Before my sighting, I believe it was a Bigfoot because it was bipedal. It was heavy steps following me, but it was on the other side of this big brush line. I could not see it. It was very interesting with that.
Have you had any experiences with like ghosts or anything like that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hillview Manor, the old Butler VA hospital. Oh, my God, that was crazy. So much experience there. It was totally crazy.
So with all of that paranormal experiences, do you think that it takes a certain person? Do you think that you were chosen is what I'm trying to ask. Do you think you were chosen in some way to have all these experiences?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I might be. Other times I think I was just in the right spot at the right time.
Because you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And I did my podcast here beginning of March at Haunted Hillview. It's on a Wednesday night. Their opening for the season was Saturday. So it worked out to help with their opening, even though they do Donnie and Dale do a live every Wednesday night. They help with the opening, help promote it. And plus it did a lot for my podcast because there was a lot of crap going on there, let me tell you. I actually had an entity in there in the basement put his hand on my chest. I could feel the hand like stop me from going any farther. It's like, stop. It's like, okay, I'm backing up. Dale, something just stopped me, slapped me in my chest.
That's interesting.
A little freaky too. But but at the VA hospital, it's 288,000 square foot hospital at the time. It was 5 floors, basement and sub-basement. And every damn floor had something going on in it.
So that sounds amazing.
It is.
I would love to go there. I would love it.
The red tape we had to go through with the government to get in there. That was the problem. And they're probably going to be tearing it down soon, and that really upsets me.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, they can't get anyone to take the building; it's too big.
Are they selling? Is it for sale?
They was trying to transfer it to another government agency.
Hmm.
It's just crazy that they're going to end up tearing down that building. I'd love to see someone buy it just for the paranormal aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or even the historical aspect, you know?
That too,
Get out
because
there.
that was not leprosy, but some other ancient disease from the early 1900s. It was built for that.
Oh, tuberculosis, TB.
Yes.
It's a TB sanatorium.
Yeah, and it was that big for the Northeast area, and I didn't know that till after we were there, and found out because there was a little girl in there playing on the one floor. We found out. But she was there because her mom was the head nurse and the dad was the head administrator. All three of them are there now. John, I'm betting on Vet. He really liked me. He wanted me to come back. He even said, I said, we got to leave and go down the hall. Do you want to go with us? Plain as day on the spirit box. No. Do you want me to come back and visit again sometime? Yes. Like, okay. Because with my K2 meter, every time I asked a question, man, that thing just went berserk. It was awesome.
Do you ever get when you're out searching for Bigfoot, do you set up equipment and everything like you would if you're ghost hunting?
In the beginning, I did. But I found out the easiest way to even get anything is sit around a campfire in the middle of nowhere. Sit in the middle, make a small little campfire. Make sure it's safe. You don't want a forest fire. And have a little campfire. We are their entertainment. I'll guarantee if they're around, they'll be coming and watching.
You know, it's funny you mention that because one of the most scariest incidences I've ever had in the woods was around a campfire. And I think it might have been a Bigfoot. Can I tell you the story real quick?
Yes, please.
So my friends and I went camping. This was years ago, and we were in eastern Tennessee, right outside of Jackson, Tennessee. I don't know if you know where that is. It's like a lot of woods, and it's up where Land Between the Lakes is, kind of that area. And we were at a campground way out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden we hear this owl hoot first, and we're sitting around a campfire just doing whatever it is we were doing, and then all of a sudden, there were coyotes all around us, and they all started howling all at one time. So that in itself is pretty eerie,
just freak
right?
you out. Just freak
We
you
were
out.
already freaked. So a couple minutes of them making all this noise all around us, we heard this really gruff, loud howl, and I can't even begin to describe what it sounded like. It was like this deep voice, and we could tell it was not an animal. We tried to compare it to like all kinds of different animal sounds. But at that sound, the coyotes just stopped. Everything went dead quiet all around us. 1
second. You heard me talk about Debbie Preggy with my sighting.
Yes.
She's in the audience. Hi, Deb. That's awesome.
Hi, Debbie.
With the coyotes, I'm walking down the one trail out at the reservoir, with a friend of mine, and we get between the road and the lake, and there's a ditch there, and they must have had a den down in the ditch. Because once we got past them and down going towards the lake, all of a sudden you hear nothing but howls. Talk about scaring the crap out of you. It's like, oh boy, they come up out of there. What kind of trap? We can't even get back to our vehicle. All we got is a walking stick. But anyhow, go ahead.
No, that was the end of the story. It's that the howl we think might have been a Bigfoot. Yeah.
Could have been. The night of my sighting, finally got in the van. Just trying to go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. And all of a sudden, you hear this owl screech right above my van. Then another one let off across the campground. It's like, I'm sitting up looking around. I open up the door. I look down there. I see it up on the branch above my van. I'm like, oh, you SOB.
The Bigfoot thing, are there other people who have spotted the Bigfoot in the areas that you've had experiences in?
Yes. A year after my sighting, we did a camp out there at the group camp. This couple from New Jersey came, and they came to my conference this year too. And there was this young gentleman. He'd never been Bigfoot before, so he decided to come and see what he can learn. And Debbie did see one at Saltport. She got a video and a picture of it.
Debbie, I'd like to see that video sometime. You got it posted somewhere?
I don't think she did post it, but she does have it because I looked at it. She came back. She's all excited and showed me. Then another supposed to be big shot research person said, well, you need to go back and get a picture about the same time you took this video and picture. Excuse me, you see the thing moving in the video. To see if it's there. Yeah, it's one of those ones that wants to be a big shot. And poor Debbie was all upset about that. And I said, I ain't going to say the words I used, but I told Debbie, don't let that get to you. You got the proof right there.
Well, I think, anytime that you're in a field like this, anything paranormal, you're going to have the naysayers like that.
Well, she wasn't a naysayer. She was trying to show off. Yeah, Debbie did end up going back the next day. And it wasn't there. And but I told her she didn't have to. She got the proof. And a couple people held me back from going telling that person off and telling them to get out of my camp. Because that was my camp out. And they said, no, just let it go, let it go. But, why try to act like a big shot?
Well, do you, Tim Vogel, I've heard of that name before, and I'm not sure, I can't remember where I've heard that.
He's from the Northeast. Up in the, is it Maine? No. But he's going to be one of my speakers next year, him and his brother.
Do you have a lot of people that come to you with Bigfoot claims and footage and things like that? And do you go through them and
yes.
decipher what's true and what's not?
Yes. Actually, I had a lady come up to my conference just to find me, to tell me about when in her driveway. And when her son went out to take the garbage out, it growled at him. And he dropped the garbage bag in the driveway, ran back in the house, refused to go back out. the next day he goes out with a gun. And ever since, he goes out to go to the vehicle with a gun because it scared him that bad. And we're going to talk later this week. I told her, I said, we got to get together later. I says, I'm tired and I'm running all over the place. I don't want to screw this up. I want to get the whole report from you. I says, get a hold of me this week and we'll go over everything. I'll come out with a couple more researchers and we'll investigate this big time, see what we can come up with for you.
There's never been any cases though where people have gone missing or gotten hurt or anything from these creatures, right? Or are there?
I heard stories. I don't know how true they are. For the most part, on the reports we've got, they're not aggressive. There is some that are aggressive. They've been, like with my buddy Joe Kesky, this thing come charging across the pond to come to them, to chase them out of there. If they would have stood their ground, would it have attacked them? I don't know. I heard stories where people got attacked, a lot of bluff charges. And when it comes down to the bluff charging, I believe either you're getting too close to their young or you're interrupting their hunt.
What's a bluff charging? I'm not sure what that is.
They come charging at you and then they stop.
Okay.
Yeah, just being real aggressive charging. And then they stop. Just to get you going.
Just to kind of scare you off, kind of thing.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, that would have scared me off.
Do you think that there'll ever be a time to where they'll come out and say there's absolutely Bigfoot? Like, do you think they'll ever present a body or skull or something to us?
There's reports they do have a body, the government, from Mount St. Helens area. They got a few bodies from there. The National Guards brought them out by helicopters, by trucks. Look how many years it took them to come out with a little bit of UFO information.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. A friend of mine, he was a Navy officer, and he ended up getting stationed at the Pentagon. He's walked past two different offices. One was the Office of Extraterrestrial Research, and the other one was Bigfoot Research. Now, this was back in the 80s. So, it's interesting. Will they come out with it? I don't know.
These creatures, they're reported all over the place. Like there's a Sasquatch of the desert. They're in the swamps. They're in the Appalachia. They're in California. Are these all the same creatures?
Probably different. How can I put it? Different nationalities, like us humans. They come all sizes and shapes and hair colors. I don't know. I believe you come across one day, and the next day you come across the same one, it can have a bad attitude.
Well, I guess they're kind of like people in a way, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You might come across a young one that's very aggressive. He just got kicked out of the family pod because he tried to take over alpha male, and the alpha male kicked him out. Something like that. You just don't know. So you got to treat this as a wild animal that you don't want to get close to. Believe me, you don't want to get close to him. He's big. But no, seriously. You got to not throw caution to the wind. You got to be very cautious.
So what do you think, like these creatures is there anything in your research that you hear about and that are similar to all of the sightings all over the place? Like, is it the same when you hear the stories from like Northern California, for instance?
The Northern California, the Pacific Northwest, there's similarities, but they are so much bigger.
That's interesting.
Around here, 7-8 foot is the norm. Out there, 12 to 16 foot is the norm, I heard. Mainly because of the size of the woods. I don't know.
The size of those big trees.
Yeah. Better to hide in. That's like you get in a mining community here in the Appalachia. The people are short. Most of the people are short because they're going down in those tiny mines. And generation after generation after generation, they started adapting. And I believe that's what the Bigfoot does.
That's interesting. They would adapt, I guess, to their environment.
Yep. And something else I throw at people, if you live in the big town of New York City, you're going to become street smart. If you live in the woods of the Alleghenies, you're going to be wood smarts. And that's, I believe, the Bigfoots are mainly wood smarts. They know how to get around in the woods, how to blend in with everything. And, so when people says, well, they're interdimensional or they're like, they can cloak.
They just, I've heard that they're skinwalkers. I've heard all kinds of stuff over the years.
Skinwalkers belongs to one tribe and one tribe only. I learned a lot about that. Now, different tribes got different demons. And the skinwalker is a demon. It is not a cryptid. And I learned that, and I've become very adamant to tell him, you got it wrong, don't call them cryptids. But, like you go down in Florida, you got the swamp ape down there.
Yeah.
They're shorter. They are
Skunk
shorter. Yeah. They are definitely shorter. You just don't. You might run into one around here that's 10 foot tall, which is not the norm. So, yeah, you're going to say, whoa, something's wrong here.
But why is it, though, that these creatures, if they're so big, why can't we find the caves and, what's the reason behind that? Like, we can never find where they're actually sleeping. Or do you?
I found a couple nests.
What'd they look like?
Trees interwoven in a big circle. The one, there ain't no way in hell a man made a hunting blind out of that one. Like someone tried to say, because the one tree was 3 foot around, interwoven with other 1 foot around trees. No guy's going to carry a 3 foot around tree and get
Right.
it set up. I don't care who you are. And it's interesting. And you could tell that nest was old. Was it still being used? I don't think.
Well, Bill, we are at the bottom of the hour. I so appreciate you coming on and telling us your story.
Appreciate it. I really do.
Do you have plans to write a book or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the process.
In the process. Great. And when will that be out?
Oh, good question. I got to sit down and keep working on it. I work on it a little bit and quit. Work a little. And it's going to be not an expert look at Bigfoot.
I like that. I do.
There ain't an expert out there, so that's going to be the name of it.
Debbie says, "Oh Lord, don't tell him that."
She
I like
want a signed copy. That's why.
So where can people find you online? Do you have a website?
I
Where
got
can
it.
they find your podcast and where can they get in touch with you?
Agents of the Unexplained.net is the website. Agents of the Unexplained, the group page, which is a private page you have to join, answer the questions to join. I got Agents of the Unexplained podcast page on Facebook and on YouTube. Or you can just look up Bill Rigby. Look for this ugly mug with a white shirt, or green shirt, I mean. And that's the Bill Rigby. And just look for some guy holding a Dr. Pepper bottle. There you go, Danny.
I was just going to ask you about that because I've been seeing that in the comments, the Dr. Pepper thing. Is that your favorite drink?
That's the only drink.
Okay.
Believe me, my friends all know. Dave Grant, Snarly Yell, made me that wooden plaque on this side here. Looks like a bottle cap. Solid oak, man. Gave it to me at my conference. And then
Cool.
You can find me there. Find me Wednesday nights at 7:00. Heidi, you are really late. We miss you.
She's so late. Sorry, Heidi. We're signing off.
Yeah. Catch me at 7:00 Eastern time on YouTube or the Agents of the Unexplained Podcast page on Facebook for the podcast.
So, Bill, thank you so much for taking the time to be on. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. And thank you, audience, for being out here.
Yes.
And putting up with us.
Thank you. And I'm definitely going to have you back on again, especially when you get your book written. And
Okay.
I'm going to definitely look up your event in June for next year.
Yeah, that's going to be June of next year. June 6th supposed to be. Yeah. We're going to have bands, food trucks, vendors, speakers. Bigfoot on the river. It's going to be fun.
I definitely look forward to that. Thank you so much, Bill.
And thank you, CL.
Oops. I cut him out. I'm sorry, guys. You've been listening to The Gateway, your portal to the unexplained, the mystical, and the otherworldly, broadcast live from United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM New Orleans. I'll be back next week at 6 p.m. I can't tell you the guest just yet because they canceled. So I got to find a new guest. I might just have an open line. If you know somebody that you really want to hear from or want to have as a guest on the show, be sure to let me know. Write it in the comments. And also, please, if you can, go to YouTube and subscribe to my page. It really helps me a lot and it helps the network. So thanks again to 107.7 FM New Orleans, and I'll see you back next week. Thank you.